What is up, everybody? Dan the Fireman here. And we're going to be talking about 5 behaviors of a good motorcycle rider. Now, we talk about this a lot in my live streams about how, a lot of the reasons why these people are crashing is because of bad behaviors, speeding, stunting in traffic, all these other things. But we're going to go over some generalized stuff so that way it can apply to you and you can learn from this. First and foremost, blinker. Secondly, just kidding. Number 1, okay, you ride smart. How do you ride smart, you ask? Well, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I do know how to ride smart because I've taken the training. So you riders, good riders, smart riders, they go out and get training. They go out and get their BRC1, BRC2, advanced class, total control, whatever it is, bike bonding, all these different things. They go out and get training. That is huge. And here's why. And here is absolutely why. Let me get through this intersection first. Good riders train for the threat that's happening out on the road. When you're out on the road right now, there's massive threats everywhere. There's oncoming traffic, potholes. Oh, there's everything. In the heat, we train for the threat. You need to train for the threat. Any threat. This biker, whatever it is. Okay? Now, we're smart enough to have the skills to get it done, but we try our absolute best to ride smart so we never get in that situation in the first place. During my live streams, I talk about that all the time. It's like, okay, well, this person could have done this, could have done this, could have done this. But then every time I scale back, every time I go back, I'm like, you know what? This person should never have been in this situation in the first place if they just followed what they learned in class. And that is huge, guys. Put yourself in a situation so where you don't have to use the skills, right? You do not have to use the skills at all that you learned in class. But if you have to, make sure you know how to use those skills. Make sure you are proficient in those skills, and that is huge. I talk about riding defensively, but knowing how to ride aggressively, same thing. Put yourself in a position to where you're not gonna have to use it, but if you have to use it, boom, you know how to do it. Yeah, boy. It's a lot like gun owners. I think a lot of you guys, especially Americans, gun-toting Arizonans, we talk about putting ourselves in a situation where we don't have to use it, but dang, man, I am so glad I have it. That makes sense, right? Same thing with skills. Make sure you never have to use it, but be super happy. Oh, this thing needs to be adjusted. Be super happy that you have it. Oh, this thing's all wonky. Even the most skilled riders will get into situations they can't handle, though, so don't ride stupid. Number 2, boys. We understand the risks. This is inherently dangerous. I'm constantly checking my mirrors, constantly looking for traps and everything. We understand the risks. Many riders jump on their bikes without thinking much about the true risk they are really taking. That's so terrible. It's not like riding a car. You just hop in a car, you're a passenger, you've been doing it probably your whole life, and it's not a big deal. So you're kind of acclimated to the car riding, right? When you go into be a driver, it's still pretty easy, right? Because you're just so used to it. You don't think about the safety stuff. You think about how many cup holders you have. When it comes to riding and you swing that leg over, inherently dangerous. I don't know how many times I have had to say that. It is inherently dangerous being on a motorcycle. You need to have the skill. So most people ride for fun and would rather not think about the possibility of injury. That's huge. That's huge. All right, now I'm riding for fun, but I'm also trying to prevent you guys from having injuries. I'm also paying attention to these mirrors, also paying attention to the speed limit, and I need to slow down just a little bit. I'm going about 4 over. Not a big deal. Good riders understand if they get seriously hurt, it's their family and friends that will suffer. See right here, trap. Here's the trap. I'm gonna give myself a wide berth, and I'm gonna give myself a back. All right. Family and friends. If I just slammed into that car or that truck, whatever. What is a truck? If I slammed into that truck, who's gonna be the one that really is gonna suffer? If I died, who's gonna suffer? My family and friends. I mean, I am super duper important to almost everybody in this world, so I don't want to die. I do it for them. All right, so now that we understand the risks, we really have to accept the risks, okay? You have to accept it. It's like, oh yeah, I know I could die on a motorcycle. I hear that a lot. It's like, well, if I die on a motorcycle, then I die. If I'm not wearing a helmet and I die in a crash, well, then I die in the crash. If I get road rash, I get road rash. If all these things. I hear about that. It's like, well, that's not really accepting it, right? I mean, it is. It's accepting the risks, but is it mitigating the risks? Are you really doing what's absolute best? Nah, probably not. If I die in a crash, I make sure I have life insurance. I have life insurance. I make sure I have full comprehensive coverage, so I make sure I have all this stuff so that my bike is secured. I make sure my body has the best insurance possible when it comes to gear. I have a very nice helmet. SHEA makes amazing helmets, but you can get a really high quality helmet. What's up, buddy? I know you're looking at me. There's some really quality helmets out there that are Snail rated, ECE rated for cheap. I've posted quite a bit, the HJC17, something like that. Very good helmet, 130 bucks on Amazon. Check it out, boys. And very good, very good. I highly recommend it. You can get that quality stuff. I'm actually in the I'm purchasing new gear. I'm gonna get new gloves. I love my boots, but I make sure I have the top quality stuff. I make sure that I insure my body. If I'm paying good quality stuff, if I'm paying I'm throwing a number out there, $1,500 a year on insurance premiums for this bike. Why can't I spend 800 bucks on an insurance premium for me? And this stuff lasts years. Think about that. If you're gonna spend that much on your bike, why aren't you spending on yourself? It's ridiculous. So when we go out and accept the risks, make sure we are actually doing what is appropriate for the road we're on also. And so this is part of number 3. Okay, so we're accepting the risks of going up Mount Lemon right here. All right? So I'm accepting the risk of hauling ass and treating my new baby to some fun stuff, right? I'm like, boom, 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 yeah, boy. I'm having fun, right? Well, accept the risk that there's probably a rock in the way. Accept the risk that there's probably a cyclist, a car, swerving into my lane, all these different things. Is that really smart? Let's mitigate that. Let's mitigate the racing and the thrill riding and the thrill seeking by going to a track. Go to a track. I talk about that in my live stream. I'm going to bring up live streams a lot because riding behavior is this huge thing when it comes to these live streams where I talk about motorcycle accidents, diagnose the problems, and how to prevent them, and kind of see what happened. You know, like lock up the rear tire, all these things. Anyways, check out the live streams Tuesdays and Thursdays, roughly 5 to 6 p.m., 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., something like that, my time, Mountain Standard Time. Anyways. Go to a track. I skip a lot of the track ones, the track crashes, because I'm thinking to myself, they mitigated everything. They have to wear full gear. The track requires them to have specific stuff. And there's an ambulance on standby for the most part if you're at a good track. Really? I think they have to or something like that. I don't know. I've never been to one. I want to. And they're out there testing their stuff. So on the crash area, so on these massive turns, there's this massive grass area. There's all these things. There's no cross traffic, no intersections, no whatever. So that is the place to practice the safest. So definitely go check out a track day. I don't even think they're that expensive considering. I mean, if you go out and try a track day on the mountain, let's say it's a $300 ticket, maybe get your thing impounded because criminal speeding and all this other stuff. Let's say it's 300 bucks. I'm just gonna say 300 bucks. I think a track day is like 200. Moto Jitsu, correct me if I'm wrong. You do a lot of track days, that's a pothole. Oh, here we go again, Daniel. Here we go again, Dan. Wear your protection, boys. Wear your protection. I talked about that, about understanding your risks, accepting your risks. Now let's number 4, let's jump into the whole protection thing. Make sure you are wearing your protection. Do I have to do the clap? Let's go ahead. Make sure you are wearing your protection. Maybe that'll be better. Anyways, broken bones, skin abrasions, head injuries. Terrible. Let's minimize those injuries. Let's minimize those as much as we can. Maybe if I don't wear a helmet and I hit the ground, let's use 30 miles per hour as the typical thing. I hit the ground 30 miles per hour, no helmet, boom, brain on the ground, scalpel injury, you know, crushed skull, all that stuff, dead, right? Let's say I hit the ground 30 miles per hour with a nice Snail rated SHEA Hornet, or we can get ourselves the HJC17. Let's say I hit the ground at 30 miles per hour with the helmet. Concussion. It's still a traumatic brain injury. Both of them are. Traumatic brain injury as in skull crushed and brain on the ground dead. That's a traumatic brain injury. Another traumatic brain injury is getting a concussion. But which one do you walk away from? Hopefully you walk away from the concussion. There's different levels, different grades. I can talk about that in a future video if you would like me to. But which one can you actually walk away from, hopefully? Let's say that's the only injury. So wear your helmet. Same thing with broken bones, same thing with abrasions, same thing with all this stuff. Imagine ripping your skin off and your flesh and your muscles, so now you have nerve damage. You can't use these 3 fingers anymore. You can only use these fingers because you've messed up your forearm and your elbow so bad in a crash that could have been prevented with wearing proper gear. See all these things? Minimize it. Insurance, baby. Insurance. We talked about a lot of scary stuff. And I got some comments about being a Debbie Downer, and like, you know, scaring people and preaching. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyways. I don't care, boys. We're gonna do it anyways. What happened here? What happened here? I'm looking this way though too. Oh, looks like somebody got in trouble. That sucks. So you have to have fun while also being safe. That is huge. If you're not having fun, if you go out and buy all this gear, get all this training, you're not having fun, you're wasting your money. I'm serious, you're wasting your money. Do not do that. Make sure you're actually having fun. I personally love wearing full gear. If I get into a car, I have to have a seatbelt. I have to have that secureness. It's like a massive hug. I feel like I'm being hugged. I feel secure. So when I go out and I ride, I feel naked. I don't feel good. I'm gonna go on Old Spanish Trail. I gotta get used to this blinker. This is a fun road if you're ever out here in Tucson. Very nice, very good, nice and slow, residential neighborhood, but like I said, it's very nice, very fun. All right, 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. Make sure you're having fun. I feel like I'm being hugged by all this gear. I'm used to the heat. It is hot outside. Was it 90 degrees right now? It's only 11:37 p.m. or a.m. It's gonna get hotter. So I'm used to having full gear on. As a firefighter, it was a lot harder. Trust me, you didn't have mesh as a firefighter, but I did have a full mask, I did have a full helmet, I did have full everything. So I feel comfortable wearing this stuff. I do. Get yourself to the point where you do feel comfortable. If you have to walk around the house with full gear on, just walk around. It's one way to get used to everything, and then just start having fun with it. Just understand that, you know what? I'm saving myself. I'm minimizing risk. So here's the fun part. I'm gonna keep my hands on the wheels, on the handlebars. Getting all that gear is expensive. I understand that. So the whole having fun thing for me, if I spend too much money on something, I get buyer's remorse. I can tell you right now, I'm not having it with this baby. But and I'm also not having it with any of this gear, because at the end of the day, I know that it is my insurance policy. And I know I spend way more on insurance. I know I spend way more on energy drinks than I do on all this gear in a year. Trust me. So just kind of minimize some of the stuff that you normally do. Like, don't go out and buy, like, I don't know, don't go out to the bar one day a month for a year. You know, one weekend a month, don't go to a bar, or don't get something, and you'll be surprised how much money you save up so you can actually get really good gear. And it's super important. It's inconvenient too to put on all this gear, but at the end of the day, what do you want? You want skin grafts from the back of your leg and your buttocks onto your face? I don't know if that's how they do it, but I know they grab it from your back and buttocks and they put on your other parts of your body. Do you really want to have all that? Do you want to get debrided where they're scrubbing, like basically like with, they're scrubbing your bare nerves and flesh to get all the debris out? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do that for a couple weeks? Didn't think so. So it's definitely well worth it, and it's super important. So if you're out riding and you're not enjoying it and you're having a bad time and you have all this stuff and you're doing really good rider behaviors but you're having a bad time, I really want you guys to swing on by the Discord, okay? There's a mental health section and there's a new rider section, so if you're getting discouraged, but there's a whole bunch of different sections in there where we have 1,200 members that are just constantly chit-chatting, constantly helping each other out. And I mentioned the mental health section, so if you're having a bad day, if you're having a rough time, please swing on by and join. It's absolutely free. Swing on by and join, and then just explain your bad day. Just tell us about your bad day, and we'll be there to help out. We will be. We have a great community, and just want you guys to know that, okay? All right, with that said, hope you guys ride safe, be safe, stay alert, and stay alive. That's going to be one of my new slogans, all right? All right, I'll see you guys later.
All right, so this one right here, he didn't really check. Here's the thing. This is a blind turn. Okay, see the hedge? See the plant? It's a blind turn. There's no stop sign. There's no stop signs whatsoever. On this situation, you either stop yourself or slow way down. Way down. Because this car decides, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Not good. Not good. So right there. Okay, the impact is, I'm assuming these are mid controls. So he barely either got clipped with his leg or didn't get touched when it comes to the impact. If he was a millisecond sooner, so he'd be up here now. This is broken leg, massive trauma, insane. Oh, terrible. But look how. Okay. No gear. Okay, no gear. Yeah, both vehicles should have slowed down. Definitely. But here's the thing. What is it? What can I see? Is it what does he have? Oh, he hit the windshield. That is a shattered windshield right there. Everybody, that's a shattered windshield. These little specks, I don't know if you can see it on your screen. These little specks, that is shattered glass. Windshields are laminated glass, so it just shatters and kind of stays together. It doesn't create like really giant shards of stuff.